Hey people, good evening. Hi everyone, good evening. How y'all doing? How are you doing? I'm just typing in, hi, welcome from Indonesia. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm just typing in the topic so that anybody who's joining knows what we're talking about. Hi Mercy, how are you? Welcome everyone. Welcome. Say hi, let me know where you're joining from. Hello. Hi, Lapido Interiors. Good to see you. So I'm going to pin the comments. And my guest this evening is Weaning is Winning. And I absolutely love her. I love her approach. I love her mannerisms. I love everything that she's all about when it comes to helping our little ones eat better and live healthier. Hello, Valerie. Welcome. So I'm going to be inviting her on to join us. But while I'm doing that, I hope everyone can see the topic and you can hear me loud and clear. Let me even be sure I can hear you guys. Here, let me put on my... I can hear you. Hi everyone, if you're joining for the first time, if this is your first time seeing me, meeting me, getting to know me, my name is Ifi Omesiete and I am a pediatric nutritionist. What that simply means is I provide clinical and non-clinical nutrition support and therapy for all children, 0 to 18 years practically. And the essence of this live today is for us to actually talk about what everybody is going through, which is inflation. It's a global issue. It's not just related to Nigeria, it's related to America, it's related to Asia. Doesn't matter where it is in the world, everyone is going through some form of inflation. And I think one of the things that a lot of us haven't really said out loud is the fact that it's affecting our nutrition, right? All the lovely things that you typically would want to buy that you could afford before, right now, it's looking like, do I remove it? Do I add something else? Should I keep buying this thing? Is this worth it? So the whole essence of this live today is for us to just talk about that. I'll share what I've been doing to try and mediate some of these costs and still maintain some form of healthy living for my children and myself. And of course, okay, sure. Let me do that again. Let's see. Okay, Winnie said I should invite her again. I guess maybe it must be network or something. But yeah, just really talk about how I've been managing and share with you, and to also hear how you guys have been doing, in that respect, and how, regardless of what is actually going on, there is still a level of good nutrition that we can practice and maintain and still get our children to eat a fairly healthy lifestyle. Because I feel like a lot of the issues stem from what we buy and what we deem as important, right? So we're going to have a conversation about what is important, what you should still be buying, and of course, what is no longer necessary, really and honestly. And then even just talk about moderation, consumption, how it is consumed in your house. So please, I want this to be interactive. I want you guys to give me info. I only know things from my perspective of my patients, but I want you guys to give me info as well. All right. So I'm just looking at Winning is Winning's request to accept that so that she can join us again. But yeah, so while we're waiting for her to join, there she is. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Mama. Good evening. How are you?
I left my makeup, Sunday makeup today.
Yes, sir. Hello, young man.
Watch my daddy.
Daddy's coming.
You want to watch what? Okay, daddy's coming. I was like, you want to watch something? Hi, how are you doing today?
Good evening. How are you doing? Nice meeting you. I've been a fan since right from when I started.
You have been a fan, have been.
Yes.
I was just telling them. I was just telling
One of
them now that
us.
I absolutely love your page and everything that your page is about, and how you're
Thank you.
always encouraging moms, to be better, to do better, and all the recipes. I'm just like, oh,
I'm fun, but
it's
I
so
was
good
one.
to.
I was your peds.
Yeah, go
Peds.
ahead.
I was once there. One time. So it was really
Okay,
fun
for one
actually.
of the editions.
Yeah. When I.
Yay!
So I am an adult.
Yeah, so you're an alumni of the Peace Nutrition Challenge. Guys, if you haven't joined the Peace Nutrition Challenge, all your faves have joined the Peace Nutrition Challenge. So if you haven't joined yet, you should. The link is in my bio.
Yes.
Go and sign up for Peace Nutrition Challenge, please. So I first of all started by talking about, how this is a global issue. It's not just
Yeah.
focused on just Nigeria or Africa in general. Inflation is hitting everybody. In fact, I was reading an article yesterday on, emerging health and the way that inflation is affecting food. And between last month and this month, there has been a whooping, almost 3% increase in the costs of things that we're buying within a month, 30 days. That's maybe 5, 6 years ago might have happened over a 6 month period or even a 1 year period, right? But now it's
Yeah.
happening in just 1 month. So I feel like it's definitely a conversation that we should be having, because a lot of parents are sort of falling off the bandwagon of healthy living just because really we can't seem to, salaries are not increasing,
But
forms
how
of
do you
income are
live?
not increasing.
It's cheaper,
Sorry?
to be honest. It's cheaper.
Sorry?
How
Yes,
do you live cheaper?
of course, it's definitely cheaper. It's definitely cheaper. But I feel like one of the struggles people have is, what do you mean by cheap, right? So that's why I even wanted us to have this conversation. Because when I say cheap, my cheap and your cheap are different. The things that you would see as important will be different than the things I see as important. Will be different than somebody else, the way they see what is important. So I even wanted to even like strip away, all the fancies and really, really get to like the real bone of contention. Like, what are the things that you cannot afford to neglect when we're talking about healthy living? Let me start by asking that. For you, in general, what are the things that that under no circumstances can any family neglect those things because they're essential for the growth of their children?
Normal food, actually, it depends on what you mean by that. Like when you say normal food to some people, they for babies, like I find that in this coming generation we have baby food and we have adult food. Now, what is baby food? An average Nigerian mom believes that the baby food is the one in a package. They believe that it's healthy because we've already presented it to us that this is what your baby should have. And every average Nigerian mom will want to buy that because the rainbow food, it contains all this nutrient my baby needs. Just this mentality. Nigeria has this mentality of dump. The white guys like to dump things here, and we too will now encourage them to dump the thing. Do you understand? So I feel like
Yeah.
an average feel a baby food is the ones that we have in the package. 1 minute, please.
Yeah,
I'm coming.
right. No problem. So that is it. So, and I think that is also really important for us to take into consideration, because, for example, when we talk about adult food and baby food, we need to get past that, like right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Like with the situation of inflation in the world, we
Question.
need to get
Now,
past that concept of
a
baby food
question.
and adult food.
Any food
Yeah,
that any food you have is the regular food that you eat. Like now, what I try to do on my page is to encourage people to know that the regular food that we are eating is good for children. It's even the best
yeah,
for children. I believe God created us and created food. So when God created food, He created what will help your body to maintain with that food. You understand? So now when you invite
yeah,
foreign body does not know the foreign bodies. All this packaged food, they are foreign bodies to the body. Now the body takes longer time for it to break it down. The stomach takes a longer time for it to break it down. And because all this food they've already added sugars, that's artificial sugars in them, to be able to suit our taste. And now when you start giving your little one, they're already making sure that their taste buds are already like, this thing must, if I don't take. So now when you start with all this, so an average Nigerian should always stock up their own with natural.
Yeah.
So I feel like an average home should have essential foods that we eat. Like, what are the essential foods? We have yam, we have rice, we have sweet potato, we have potato, we have just it is what a Nigerian family or an every both baby food and adult food, normal food. I don't know where the classification came from.
Right. And I think also now you said something. You said that what everybody in the house should be eating should be the normal things, right? Your yam,
Yeah.
your potatoes, your rice, your pastas. Now let's talk about how the prices of these things have literally skyrocketed. So for example, let me use spaghetti. Spaghetti used to be 200 naira sometime last year. As it is today, a pack of spaghetti is about 450 naira. So if a family could afford to buy spaghetti full carton, it is now double the price as at today. So it's crazy, but that's the truth. So what would you say in that instance? Because for me, right, what I usually tell parents is variety allows for you to have less of something because you have so many other options, right?
Yeah.
I like to use the example of oil. Every single family usually has 2 or 3 kinds of oil, typically.
Yeah.
They have one massive jerry can of vegetable oil. Then they will have a medium size. Exactly. They will now have medium size of, what's it called? Palm oil, right? And then maybe they heard coconut oil was good for the health, so they now have one small bottle. The truth of the matter is that vegetable oil in your house, you are going to finish it much faster than if you had smaller sizes of different oils. Maybe you had coconut oil, you had groundnut oil, you had like sunflower seed oil, you had what's it called? You had your palm oil. With these multiple varieties in the house, right? Before I abuse my groundnut oil, before I use it to whatever, I would have had my other options. Today I'll tell myself, okay, this week we'll have maybe palm oil and groundnut oil. So when we even talk about, because somebody just said now that yam and plantain is gold, right? This week in my house, I think we've eaten yam maybe 3 times. And in a month, we might have eaten that same yam maybe 6 times. So your struggle when somebody says yam is expensive is not my struggle. I don't know if you understand, right? The reason why it's not my struggle is because there are other varieties in my diet. I can't, like, for example, we walk into a Nigerian person's home and it is yam, plantain, and rice. That's it. And when you mention things like sweet potato, the person is like, no, we don't really do sweet potato. It's only Irish potato. When you say, okay, what about like your grains? The person is like, what other grain is there? Is it not only gari? Which other grain again? What am I supposed to do with corn apart from make pap? These are the things that we don't think about. So that's why I said, for me, variety is so important because variety helps you to control what are the options. For you, what would you say helps you to control, these hiking prices? What are some of the things that helps you to control these hiking prices?
To be honest, it's varieties and trying to choose fruits and fruit in season as well, because fruits and fruits in they also help you, and that is why you have to be versatile with food. You don't just have to like one particular food. Like, take for instance, now I like mangoes, so mango this season is scarce. I have to go towards banana. I can get banana, I can get other fruits. So you have to be versatile with fruits, and that's why it's always good I know we are trying to link this thing to children, to not just for the house. That's why it's also always
Yeah.
good to start using varieties to.
Oh no, it's breaking. Is this from me or from your end? Can you guys still hear winning is winning? Is it from me? Wow. Is it me that is network at home? Can you guys still hear me? If you can still hear me, let me know. Can you guys still hear me? If you can, oh, it's from her end. Oh dear. Okay, she'll probably join us again. She'll probably join us again. She'll probably join us again. But like, so far, I want you guys to share with me, because like one of the things she mentioned just now was eating what is in season. That's one thing I have always done. Like I never eat anything that is out of season. I always try to ask the market people. You see, one thing that we don't know how to do is we don't do something called a market survey. Let me tell you guys a small secret. Do you know that the supermarket near your house may actually be selling things more expensive than the one near your office? Like if you work a 9 to 5, for example, and you always tell yourself, I will drop by the supermarket near my house. Do you know it's possible that the supermarket near your house may be selling things more expensive than the one that is near your office? Market surveys are really important because what a market survey allows you to do is that allows you to identify within a certain vicinity and your different locations and what is accessible to you, what costs what. I remember, I think it was in 2018, I found out that ShopRite sells things very, very expensive relative to the smaller supermarkets that were around it. However, ShopRite offered me a bit more variety. So what did I start doing? Planning. I would write out my list very nicely. I will write out my list. And you see, another thing is we are always in a hurry to shop, right? And so in that hurry, like you plan only one day. Okay, you plan only one day to do your shopping, and because it's only one day you have, you're trying to get everything in that one day. Like you're literally trying to get everything in that one day. So you might have tried one place, you didn't see it, you went around that same place, you didn't see it. But if you do a market survey, you can easily tell yourself that that shop along the road near my house, every time that I'm passing, on Tuesday, I will stop there and pick up 4 packets of milk because their own milk is 100 naira cheaper than that supermarket that is in front of my house, or is 100 naira cheaper than the second bus stop before I reach my office. Another
Can you see
situation
me?
is could be yes, I can hear you. Welcome back.
Okay.
So another situation is I'm always buying spaghetti 1 1 2 2 3 3 4 4. Why don't I beg somebody in my office that two of us can buy our spaghetti together, so that two of us will gather money and buy carton? It's true. Two of us will gather money and buy carton, and then we can share the carton. And then at the end of the month, maybe she has money on ground. At the end of the month, me, I cannot give her from my salary if I don't have the money on hand. This is me thinking about the inflation situation that is occurring. But majority of us are so stuck in our little bubbles and our little situations that we're not even thinking in this axis. Let me give you guys another example. I have a friend who does market runs, right? And she's the kind of person that I can owe, right? So I begged her, I said, I beg, please help me get coconuts. And she was like, okay, no wala, that she'll help me get the coconuts. And I asked her what's the price. She now said, starting from 400. Do you know if I had gone to the market by myself, they probably would have started from like 500. Some people would have had the audacity to sell me coconut at 600 naira. But because she knows the market very well, I just told her, I said, please help me buy 6 coconuts, 400. 6 times 4 gives me about, what is that, 2,400 or so. I would have taken that same 2,400 inside my car with my fuel, with the way fuel is doing anyhow. Enter the market. I will not be begging somebody to sell me 550. Why? The person will tell me, madam, price, money, they have put money on everything. They have put money on everything. Meanwhile, I could have just gone to our house to pick up at 400. So this is like that is something I like to call social currency. It's another kind of spending, right? But it's smart spending. It's
Yeah,
not
but
spending where you now go to the market and you just be like, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, it has happened again. I came here with 10,000 naira and I didn't buy anything. Social currency. Who is in your circle? Who do you have around you? Who are your people? Your let me give another example. Your cleaner in the office. I can bet you that the cleaner in your office is not spending the kind of money you're spending. First of all, your salaries are not even comparative. However, that person is eating. The person is
yeah.
eating. They may not eat as much as you, but they are eating. Where are they buying their own from? Can you not send that person to help you buy? Social
You know,
currency.
like something like it's also good to buy in bulk. Like for instance, someone like the Jaws, they are good in strawberries. So now if you're buying
Mm-hmm.
strawberry Abuja, definitely it's going to be expensive. Or if you're buying strawberry in Lagos, it's
Exactly.
going to be expensive. Why? Because it's not grown in such areas, and strawberry is also very good for the family. So what do? You get someone that is in Jaws who can send it to you, and you can as well share around with your friends. So that's another way of buying smartly. Or maybe
Exactly.
I know
Exactly.
I just use strawberry because I know mostly in the north, and I know onions too is mostly in the north. Like places like I know they say
Mm-hmm.
onions in the north is very expensive. Meanwhile, in places like Abuja,
Mm-hmm.
so it's always easy for you to buy from the source. And I see that there are some accounts on IG
Exactly.
too who does that, buying in stock. So it's best to always buy in
Yeah.
stock. But you know, the electricity issue in Nigeria will not even support you putting it in your freezer. See, my
That one is
sister, the first
another.
is to jackpot beg, I beg. This one.
But the thing,
I
the
swear,
thing,
I
the
don't
thing
say.
is, the thing, the thing just makes you weak. But you see, one of the things. So because I lived outside of Nigeria for a period and I moved back to Nigeria, one of the things I told myself, newlywed, new mom, I just told myself, I said, I will sacrifice anything to have light. Like I need light.
Yeah,
I need to have light. So even when
exactly.
like we were moving into our own place, I would tell my husband, I said, what does it cost to run gen every day? If for any reason at all, they decide maybe transformer will spoil or this one will start, like what can I do? And you know, that decision I made as far back as how many years ago has been a lifesaver for me because I could afford to buy in bulk. Because as part of my monthly expenses, there are things you can sacrifice. Like, for example, I can decide that, okay, you know what, this week, this month, because of how things may be, we will not eat chicken. Maybe we'll eat fish, or maybe it's egg that we'll be doing. Let's leave
Yeah,
chicken.
that's
Or
variety
maybe
because
they'll
you've
do
already
pasta.
started with variety.
Yes, because I've already started. So I was already telling myself those kind of conversations. Because another thing is now let me even throw this out there. We have been having inflation since last year. For some people, it's still a shock every month. It's still shocking them every month.
Are you sure since last year? I mean, since
Infl-
how many 5 years ago?
My dear,
Because every
no, since last year the thing was now very evident
we're
that things
not
were climbing and
very
climbing and it was not going
consistent. It
down.
was consistent.
Yeah, it was consistent. And every month it will still shock somebody. The person will still be
Yeah, every
shouting,
month
yay,
actually.
can you believe it? And I'm like,
And
how can this thing still be shocking you? By now, you should be, you know how you work in like, so there are some organizations that they project for the quarter. So they'll tell themselves in the office, these are what we're going to have to be dealing with for the next 3 months or 4 months. So let's create a budget for these. Let's factor in these possibilities. People work in those kind of offices, but when they close from work, that brain they were using in the office, they leave it there and come home and come and be shouting, yeah, the prices are going up. Yeah, prices are. You learn how to adjust. You
yeah,
already know. See, I can tell you right now that the price of rice is going to be 4 times the price of rice in December. So
yeah.
what am I doing? I'm looking for
You're
who is
buying
selling
now.
rice cheap now so I can buy. Because I already know it's not, it's just like I was telling somebody the other day that I've been telling people to buy dollars since people do not want to answer me. Now dollar is 600 and something naira. We are heading to 700. You people, it's still shocking you people. Somehow you are hoping that it's still going to be going up. You're talking about
It's
buying
not
it
gonna
now,
be-
but they will not hear.
And keep.
Because the truth of the matter is, thank you. The truth of the matter is that is an investment in itself. So the change,
Yeah.
that small change. Imagine buying it at 600 and something, and then it gets to maybe 700. That change, is that not change that you didn't have to
Yeah.
struggle for, and you can now use and enter the market? Projections.
Exactly.
We need to learn how to think smart and start projecting in this time. I'll give another instance. I used to buy that's the thing. Stop making budgets. You're supposed to be budgeting with the projection in mind. You're supposed to be budgeting with a projection in mind. You cannot be budgeting today. That is a waste of time. In fact, if your budget is 20,000 naira for food for the month, I can bet you that when you enter the market, you
It's
only
not
come back
enough.
with you only in fact you will come back with goods of 20,000 naira that cost you
Of
10,000 naira
ten
last month.
thousand naira last year, yeah. It's not going to be the same
That's it.
again.
It's not going to be the same. And this same time in July, the same 20,000 naira will become 5,000 naira worth of goods. We don't project ahead. Like for example, if you have something in hand, like if you can sacrifice something in hand right now, do it for the betterment of 2 or 3 months or 4 months or 5 months
Yeah.
from now. I'll give you an example. I stopped buying butter last year. I used to buy butter a lot. I stopped buying butter last year, right? Have you seen the price of butter recently?
Oh my god.
Have you seen the
So
price
what
of
do you
butter
do?
recently?
Come and give us expo. What do you do?
So I found out that there is something called manshanu, which is ghee, which is
Okay.
local
Yeah,
butter.
yeah.
Yeah. So I started buying that instead.
So
Then
you stop protest.
um so I stopped butter. But you see, what I now did was, so for example, if you buy a carton of spaghetti this month, spaghetti is no longer a necessity for the next maybe 3 months or 2 months.
Yeah.
So the money that I would have shared to be buying that spaghetti like every month, right? I gathered it together and bought it 1 month. So I saved
Yeah.
instead of using money will now like what's the word? The money will now relocate to another thing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like the money will now go to another thing. So in that situation, I bought manshanu, I bought a lot of it. Like I bought as much as my money could buy. And do you know, I bought this thing, I think I bought it towards the end of February, March. And I'm going to still have enough next month.
Yeah.
Like I still have enough to carry me next month. And
Relations.
I've shared this on my stories. I'm always baking. So now somebody mentioned something. Somebody said income did not increase. My dear, income did not increase for anybody. Some people said they have lost their job.
It's true.
Income did not increase for anybody. Some people have even lost the one income they were even managing themselves. Some people have even lost the job. You find yourself in a situation where you look at the glass half, you stop looking at the glass half empty, you start looking at it half full. How about those that can't even afford to save ahead? Nobody is saving ahead again. Even myself, I don't remember the last time I put money somewhere to hold it, let the thing be holding. Why? See, the thing is, let me put it this way. A lot is just like I'm going to use the what's it called? I'm going to use the story of the 10 virgins. So if
Why?
you're a Christian on this call, you might have heard of that story, right?
Collect this
Um,
phone.
how the virgins had to fill up their lamps, right?
Yeah.
In preparation for the groom, right? And those who filled up their lamps, then while some other of the virgins slept, they slept off. So when they slept off, the oil in their own lamp now finished. Those that had
Finished.
filled up their lamp still had extra oil.
To take
They still
them.
had extra oil. Well, thank you. While the other people slept off and their own oil finished. Now, the oil finished, they woke up and said, oh, please, can you give us oil? Our own oil has finished. And those ones were like, I cannot give you.
What
Me,
can
I
I give
prepared
you?
myself. I came prepared. I came ready.
Yeah.
I was ready. I arranged myself. And the bridegroom came and took those who were ready.
Yeah.
Now I'm using this story because a lot of us have never been ready. So in another 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 months, we still won't be ready. It's not a function of, oh, we couldn't afford to save ahead. There was a time that things were relatively good for you. Things have, like, there was a time that things could have been swallowable. Like at a point, it was, you looked at it and said, oh, it's not as hard as last month. What can I do in this month? And so there's this typical saying that there's somebody that earns 100 naira and has the ability to save 10 naira. When he gets 1,000, he'll be able to save 100. When he gets 10,000, he'll be able to save 1,000. A lot of us have 10,000 naira and have refused to save 1,000 because we are waiting to get 100,000.
100,000.
We believe,
Yeah.
thank you. We believe that when we
If you're
get
not faithful in
100,000,
little, you can't be faithful in money.
that's it. That's it. So whether in, because the truth of the matter is the income, the income is still the way it is for many people in Nigeria. While for others, they planned ahead, and so right now they are living off their savings, hoping that they will get another source of income. So really, these are the things that we need to have conversations about. So like Winning is Winning said, first of all, above everything else, stop separating baby food from adult food. Everybody in the house should just be eating the same thing.
Abby,
That's number one.
it will help us. So it's going
Thank
to
you.
help a long way, to be
Number
honest.
two.
Especially. Okay, no,
No, go
continue.
ahead. You were saying something.
I think it's going to really help because now the price of dollars is hiking, and one thing, baby food is abroad only, like, so the price it will also be increasing with the dollar. So your budget for that week for your baby's food is going to be so high, and they come in small packs like this. Before you know it, the thing has finished. So that's just the one thing you should consider. It's going to be very expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So somebody is saying about choosing baby food over regular food for babies. The person says, I feel like sometimes it's just easier to feed. So you see, the thing with easier to feed, right, is can you continue to afford easier to feed?
How is it even easy to
Is
feed?
it
I
is
feel
it
like that question, it depends on the type of mom. Are you that type of lazy mom, or are you not planning your home? Sorry if it sounds harsh, because if you say it's easier, I find like there's food like Fionnu cereal. It's kind of easy for me to prepare. It's like that's my go-to if I'm so lazy. Then we have like, if you plan yourself very well as a mom, you should have like a timetable. That's if you have regular lights. You meal prep for the week. You're able to put it in the freezer and put it in the fridge. So it's just much easier for you to get it from the fridge, heat it up, and give to your little
yeah,
one. You find out that one is easier. And aside that, you are rest assured that
yeah,
okay, my child is eating his necessities for that day. So it depends on how you plan
yeah,
yourself as a mom to be able to know what is easy
yeah,
and not easy. So if you say because it's easier, fine, it's easy, but when the time is to go to hospital, it's not easy. When you see that your little one's immune system when they do kakaka, that one is not easy. So
yeah.
choose your
So
say
so
choose
this
your
person
hard
now,
now.
this person just said something, and I can already see where the problem is. So she said, in my case, my baby will be 7 months in a few days, shuts his mouth tightly to spoons and cries and vomits if you succeed in putting a spoon in, but he loves the bottle. Winning is winning. This is your category. Please answer this.
Where's the question? I didn't see the question. I'm
This
trying
is
to compare. In my case, my baby who is
so
7 months
Miss.
in a few days shuts his mouth tightly to spoons and cries and vomits if he succeeds in putting the spoon in his. To be honest, he said, let me give you a story. They said start feeding your little one from 6 months solid. But to be honest, most children are not ready at 6 months. Is it for me? My own was ready at almost like 8 months. To be honest, most people are, because it's strange to them. Number one, number two, they have been taking breast milk, and you want to come and give them something with spoon. Cultural shock will happen. Number two. So number three, they may not just like the texture, they may not just like the thing. It may just be like smelly to them. For instance, if you want to start giving your little one carrot puree. Carrot is bitter, whether you like it or not. When you eat it raw, it has this kind of taste that it wants to be sweet. But when you prepare it, it has one type of sour taste. Now, if you start giving your little one carrot, the first impression your little one already has with that spoon is like, this is yucky, so I'm not going to eat this. But it's different from the reaction your little one will have with banana. This is sweet. Now, children are different, just like we adults are different. So there are so many factors you can consider and say, why is my little one doing this? Now, is it the consistency you are giving your little one? Is it a thick consistency? Is it a light consistency? Like, I find it that some moms, when they just start solids, they are happy their little one is starting solids, but they start with a very thick food like eba. How will that little baby eat it? Now, you say you are wicked. So, number one, you have to ask yourself, what consistency did you give that child? What exactly did you give that child, and how did you give it? And first, already, see, when you start pressurizing your thing about something may not work, you start being angry. My child must eat this. You must first of all know that solid is just a complimentary meal for babies from 6 to 12 months. So if your little one is
Thank
not
you.
at 7
Thank you.
months, is not taking solids, you should not force about it. You should just give them time. Be patient, gradually, consistency. With motherhood, you cannot be tired though, because you get frustrated and you'll be worked up.
Yeah, you can't.
There was a time that
You
my
can't.
son, when
And
he was seven,
another thing I would say to Miss Oji as well is, my dear, you see bottle? Bottle is the worst decision that you can make as a new mom or a first-time mom or as a mom in general. Bottle
okay,
does not encourage winning at all. It is not a form of winning. Bottle should not, I mean, there's no solid that should be in a bottle. Three simple reasons. One, the consistency is wrong. The consistency is just wrong. There is nothing you want to tell me now that unless you open the mouth of the bottle to be as wide as River Niger, there is nothing that is going to pass through that nipple that cannot just, it has to be liquid. Number two, you are not encouraging use of all the senses. So they will never learn how to chew anything, really. They are going to, they are the gag reflex. So there's something called a gag reflex, which a child takes time to lose. So for example, you put food in their mouth and they will like, as if they want to vomit, but they don't really want to vomit. It's a process called the gag reflex, and they're trying to learn how to swallow. You are not going to help your child lose the gag reflex. And number three, you're just creating a lazy eater. What is bottle? Put it in the mouth, suck, food has finished. So just like you said, I don't even think it's normal to even put sweet potato porridge in the bottle. You will be shocked that I have patients that have told them, if it is bottle that is if we're going to get our child to taste other things, put sweet potato porridge in the bottle. She is washing that will wash it. Get a spoon feeder. Just get rid of that bottle. And I'm not even saying this like to scare you, but I can bet you that if you don't do something about this, in the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in fact 12 months, you are going to still struggle with feeding. It's not going to change. So it's better to struggle now, right? As in do the struggling now. Just like Winnie said, motherhood, though, you cannot give up. You cannot even be tired.
so
Struggle
I
the
feel
struggle
like the number
now.
one comment I normally get from my DM every day is just two. Number one is, my baby is not eating. I've tried all I can do. My baby is not eating. The second comment is, I'll be DM is, my baby is too slim. I want a chubby baby. So those are the two things that moms are always concerned about. Now, when it comes to this feeding, you have to ask yourself so many questions, because it's either you are getting it right or you are getting it wrong, or you are not understanding your child. And I feel most Nigerian moms are not getting rid of this competition issue. Now, my son was actually a picky eater when I started. Actually, I didn't even know I was supposed to start at 6 months. I'm just giving a story about myself. So it's family and friends that told me, because this is my first time. I was like, oh, I thought you'd be taking breast milk to maybe like 1 year. Okay, 6 months came. I was excited. I went to go and buy cereals, because they say cereal you're supposed to start with. So I was excited. I went to buy cereal. But the boy did not like the cereal now. I tried every cereal, did not like the cereal. And I said, oh, and I started saying, okay, I want this fruit, because I believe in the power of good food. So I now started giving broccoli. Imagine me giving broccoli as first food. More cultural shock happened. It did not accept. So Monday I just sat there and cried. I said, God, what is all these things? So what will I do? I even tried this using like a syringe to give him the food. It will take it small. I said,
Yeah.
this one was working. Let me just continue today. Then I now noticed that I now tasted the broccoli one day and said, "Kai, this thing is yucky, true, true. How can I just give a poor child without
True,
anything,
true.
just broccoli?" So I now said, okay, let me try banana. Especially how the banana was much, much better than broccoli. So from there, and I started getting its taste and flavor. So now I feel like what me I had then was the fact that I felt this child is not getting enough. Like I want this child to really get enough so that it's going to be chubby. But I forgot the fact that he's still getting enough from my breast milk. I'm just trying to complement what he's eating. So, and again, Nigerian moms, when you see another child opening their mouths, those ones are foodie from the belly. Like that one from belly, they like food. So they are trying to start
Yeah,
comparing that,
yeah,
Mrs. K's babies, see the way this child is eating. Oh, I sure my own, why is my own not normal like this? That what can I do? So that
yeah.
competition, that's why in life you try not to compare yourself with another person because we are all
At all.
different.
At
Now,
all.
especially with children, it's even very wrong to compare your babies because yeah, I feel it's very disrespectful to them actually because you should celebrate their own uniqueness. Your child may want something different from
Yeah,
what that person wants. So I feel they should eliminate that competition spirit from children and learn to understand their own child and learn to understand the basis of solid food because many people feel like if it's not eating solid, it's not getting fatter. Now, when you say chubby,
yeah.
another question is chubby. That chubby part is only God that will settle that matter. In Nigeria, especially, I feel, I feel, I feel that's one thing. If a child is not chubby, they feel maybe the child is not normal. Now see, because in medicals and in nutrition, I know that there is a BMI that you check, and there's the weight of the child, if it's a girl, if it's a boy, and the weight of the child, whether it's normal. I'll not ask, have you checked the weight? She'll say no, that she just saw the baby and the baby is low. Okay, check the weight. And if you check the weight, the child is within his normal range. That means the child is not doing badly as you feel. But because you've seen Mrs. B's baby chubby, you also feel your own baby too should be chubby or there's something wrong with
Exactly.
your baby. Now all those things
Exactly.
together, there's a way the mental, your mind start working. All those things now making you be depressed unnecessarily. So I feel the problem is with we moms. We have to just put ourselves together and know the basis and know your child well. The thing is understand your child, understand what your child. Now many children don't like purees. I've seen so many instances of babies throwing away
Yeah.
puree. Because you see me doing puree on my page, you feel like my baby can have this puree. No, your baby will not have it. Your baby might just be a BLW baby who likes to touch the food, who likes to feel the food themselves, who likes to be the one in
Mm-hmm.
charge of the food. Why
Mm-hmm.
some maybe just be ones that they are the VIP, they want you to feed them the food because they can't stress
Mm-hmm.
themselves, or they are the ones that don't
Mm-hmm.
like dirty. So now you must
Mm-hmm.
understand your child. So they are
Mm-hmm. Hey, not again. No. Don't tell me it's a network. And she was on the roll. Oh no. Is it your network? Is it your network? Is it your network? Please let me know if it's her network. Oh, is it the network? Oh, and she was on the roll. Oh, she was on a roll. Oh. So, let me clarify something while we're still here. If you can still hear me, let me know. But let me clarify something. When I say bottle, it is liquid in a bottle. So when it will come back. It's liquid in a bottle, liquids, fluids in a bottle, solid, spoon and bowl. Liquid in a bottle, solid, spoon and bowl. A puree, a smoothie should be in a sippy cup, right? If it's a smoothie, it should be in a sippy cup. You can still put your purees, like a thick puree, in a bowl, right? But your liquids should stay in the bottle. Solids have no business in a bottle. Thick purees have no business in a bottle. Cereals have no business in a bottle, unless the cereal is a smoothie base. And I think one of the things that Winning is Winning was really hammering on is knowledge. Pay for knowledge. One of the things that has helped me, saved me in these times is paying for knowledge. You pay for knowledge, you stop guessing. You literally stop guessing. You stop wondering. You stop worrying about things that typically you would be worrying about. Get knowledge. Winning is Winning has such an amazing page that talks about different things. The Page Nutrition Challenge is in fact, The only thing we do there is knowledge. We are not even selling anything there. Sef. We are not even, are we even like, I know sometimes when people join the Peace Challenge, they're like, this meal plan, can I afford it? And I'm like, some of the winners of the Peace Challenge did not buy a single thing from our website. Some of the winners of the Peace Challenge. But you see the knowledge, they took it and they ran with it. And they started creating unbelievable things from the meal plans, because we're there to help you, to facilitate you, to guide
Can you
you.
see me?
Because you see, yes, I can see you. Welcome back.
Okay.
So even like when people are, some of the questions I'm even seeing is taking us away from our inflation and child nutrition topic. So we have to come back to that. But like really, like for example, someone said, please, I'm always worried when my baby starts purging. Purging is not a normal thing. Like it's not something that should be happening regularly. Your child can purge maybe once or twice a year, but if you are doing it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, that's an issue. You need to review hygiene. You need to review so many things, right? So it's not a consideration like so the question you're asking, so how long does one need to purge? He should not even be purging to start with at all. Don't even
Oh
ask
my
how long.
God.
We should not even be purging to start with
I
at
saw one
all.
say my baby
Yeah.
is a few days to completing 6 months on exclusive, and I truly don't know what to expect as per winning. You're going to expect a lot. You're going to expect changes because you and your child will expect changes. It's a shock to your child too. It's a shock to you as a mom. So I think as a baby is born, a baby is born, a mother is born. So you and your baby, you are going through the process. You are learning together, especially when you're a first time mom. I feel second time mom, you know how to do it. So you're going to expect a lot of things. I can't tell you what to expect until you start and you know your child, basically.
Yeah.
So that's
And I would
so
and
that.
I would recommend that if you're just about to start winning on this thing, join the Pit Challenge. Like
I think,
it's one place. It's one place that you will get answers to so many questions that you have not even thought of asking. Like it will
yeah.
be, I remember people will be in the challenge and be like, okay, I didn't even know that this was a thing. So, okay, how do I do it? Can you explain it a little bit further? Right? Because like you were saying earlier, knowledge. You don't know whether your child likes sweet things. You'll be guessing. And this is not the time to be
Yeah.
guessing. It's very painful to buy packet of cereal, 3,000
It's
naira, and you will still
painful.
throw it
Huh.
away. It's painful. And this is not the
Is it
time
still
for you to be feeling
3,000?
that kind of pain.
Is it
My dear,
still
I don't even know, because
3,000?
I don't even know, because I could don't even buy cereal. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
But
think I saw
it's
one milk. I think the
painful.
milk was 7K. I was like, Jesus,
Ah,
7K. Hey, God. Giving birth now in Nigeria, you're a millionaire.
ah.
Oh.
In
I
fact,
even prefer pap.
let me even give you guys an example. So I shoot a lot of the recipes that they have for the nutrition for kids community, and I recently bought a box of granola. Granola is not something I readily eat. I bought the box, I opened it, I scooped it out, I went to buy yogurt, I put it with the yogurt, and I said, my God, I don't like this thing. Literally, that was the look on my face when I put it in my mouth. And I started asking myself, who is going to eat this thing? That thing cost me 2007 something, the box. And I was like, what am I supposed to do with this granola? Who sent me this nonsense message? Say if I had taken this money and now I'm gonna buy crayfish, I will understand myself. Who sent me? But you know what? Because I have the knowledge, that granola has finished too. I've used it to make waffles. I've used it to bake banana bread. I've cuckoo used it as
Mhm.
for chicken nuggets. I've cuckoo used it to make swallow safe. I mixed it with swallow to eat my soup. The granola did not waste. Thank you very much. It cannot even afford to waste because
Oh
that
my God.
2-7 it will choke me. But so many of us, well, our brain is not even thinking that far. You've
Yeah,
already started telling yourself, this is how I
you have to
wasted
be
money.
do varieties. You
Thank
have to be
you.
you
That
have to
variety
be
is
very
so key.
versatile. Good.
That variety is
Exactly.
so key. So another question I want to ask you, because I
Okay.
noticed that you do a lot of stuff when it comes to like, creating meal plans and recipes. Now, how does it function in your home? I shared something on the page today where I wrote out like my own timetable that we used last week. But like, how does it function in your home? Like, how are you able to ensure that your little one is still eating healthy, even though everybody else in the house is eating healthy, and you're even still doing things like fonio cereal and all of that? Like, how do you come up with like timetables that work best for you at home?
Okay, for instance, like me and my husband, we are just three. Me and my husband we eat like twice in a day because me I take
Mm-hmm.
breakfast is my smoothie, then the remaining lunch and dinner I can just. Now for my little one, I ensure that he eats maybe like 4 times. It depends on his mood. Now what I do is like breakfast is easy to do. Then lunch and dinner I can put I normally batch make his food for the week. For instance, I can just make pasta with fruits and vegetables. I know that this meal is a complete meal. You understand what I'm saying? It has the carbs, the protein,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fat, the veggies. It's a complete meal. Then put it in the freezer. Or I can make potatoes, make sure it's complete, then put it in the freezer. Because I'm always busy creating content. So when it's time for lunch or when he gets back from school, I can put easily heat it up for him and give him. Now I don't have issue with his lunch because that one is sorted out. Then maybe dinner or snacks. It's something I can just say, okay, he's going to eat what I'm eating too because definitely there's no baby food in my house, there's no adult food. We both eat what we're eating. So
mm-hmm,
that's how I'm
mm-hmm.
able to control feeding my child, making sure he eats
Yeah,
very efficiently. Because you see, if some people say eating healthy is kind of hard, to be honest, if you want to be doing it every day, it can be stressful. Do you understand? Like today, you want to do this. There are some days where, as a mom, you need to do other things, not just concentrating in being in the kitchen. Especially when you don't have help. I don't have help. I do everything myself. So I try as much as I
yeah,
can to make sure weekends I can just say, okay, this one is for the whole week. So this is what you are going to eat for the whole week. Now I'm not saying it's going to eat pasta today, pasta tomorrow, pasta. No, I'll do like pasta, potatoes, and rice. So within that week, I'm going to share it. Maybe today pasta, tomorrow potato, next tomorrow beans. Then again we'll start, but just for lunch. Then the
they will rotate
breakfast and
it.
dinner
Exactly.
is going to. So I feel that's how you can be able to make sure that your child is eating well. Then I always have to have a reminder. If I'm making breakfast, I must ask myself, okay, there's carb here. What is there? Okay, I'll add peanut butter. There must just be something that will make it a complete meal. Okay, this is my smoothie. So my son is not someone who doesn't like smoothie alone. I'm the one who likes
Yeah,
smoothie and
yeah.
I like to give out smoothie recipes. But he doesn't like smoothie alone. So what I normally do sometimes, I mix the smoothie, then I can add it to his oats. You must not eat that thing, you don't want to eat it. You eat it
Mm.
somewhere. Is it that I add it like in his
Somewhere.
oats? Yeah, in his oats. Will he know whether I put fruits there? When I just blend it for him and put it, he doesn't like seeing it, but when he eats it, he will not know. Who is smarter, is it me or you?
Mm-hmm.
They bomb me or you. So he is going to eat it somewhere. Is either he's going to eat it with his oats, with his pap, or he must try it, take that smoothie somewhere. And if I'm lucky, some days he can accept to take the smoothie, but some days if he doesn't want it, oh yeah, no, voila. Your next food, you eat it somewhere. Or basically maybe muffins. I can add banana in the muffins. Just add something
Yeah,
inside each other. That's how you can be able
yeah,
to make
yeah,
the. I know most of our Nigerian
yeah,
meals.
yeah.
Sorry to say, we don't like eating veggies. Me, I didn't like eating veggies. I won't lie until when I had a baby child. I now started knowing the
Mm-hmm.
importance of
Mm-hmm.
eating veggies. Like the only veggies I
Mm-hmm.
knew was ugu. When they will blend ugu and water and blend it and give us. So I had a bad relationship
Mm-hmm.
with
Mm-hmm.
fruits and veggies, and the only fruit I ate was banana. So being a mom really, really shaping my mentality on
Encouraged you,
nutrition.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
because when
it
you
really
see your
encouraged you to
child,
do better for your health.
a new person is born, you
Yeah,
want your
that's
child
true.
to live well. So when your child is living well, you now look at yourself and say, God, am I living well too? I want to live long to take care of this child. So your mentality on so many things change. So I feel that was what changed my mentality, and it also encouraged me to eat well as a mom and to also make better
Yeah,
decisions
yeah,
for the family as well. So I feel that's just it.
yeah, that's true. Another thing I also want to say, even when it comes to this fruits and veggies thing, is see, okay, so I'm not an economist, but I did economics in secondary school, and
You're
something
an
that is
economist, so
simple for
you know
everybody
you're
to
managing
understand.
mind bug. Sometimes I say that
So,
one.
so see, okay, so but you see, the simple thing, the simple concept is supply and demand.
And demand, yeah.
So the way things work in the way things work in Nigeria is when there is an increase in demand for something, right? The supply never really gets there.
Yeah.
There's a huge increase in demand. The supply never gets there. which in reality is supposed to increase in demand, supply will meet it. But in Nigeria, that concept doesn't apply. Yeah. What happens is we have an increase in demand and the price of that thing skyrockets.
It's going up.
What are they trying to do? They are trying to see if the current people that are demanding it because it is trending, are demanding it because their sister and their brother is eating it, or are demanding it because they really want it. If you look at things like let's use something as typical as like fonio, for example. Who knew what fonio was? Fonio has been around for centuries, years, right? But the demand for it was a fit farm, healthy living. You gotta eat it because it's healthy for your baby demand. Do you know that the supply has always been there? But what has now happened is that the price for the supply has increased. Of course, there are other factors like transportation and all that. But do you know that there are those of us that buy fonio? Do you know fonio is currently in some open markets right now? The one they've not removed the sand, right? It's currently in some open markets. Do you know some people can actually afford to buy that? The one they've not removed the sand, they will clean it themselves. Versus the one that is being sold that you feel like, oh, this is expensive, this is exotic, I can't buy it. So that's why this thing that you and I are talking about knowledge is so important. See, get knowledge. Knowledge will allow you to beat this demand and price hike supply thing. Because I can tell you for a fact that if I didn't bother myself about finding out, our ancestors were eating butter because we reared cows. How can I still be buying butter of small butter that is this size, 3,000 naira, 3,500, when I can buy butter that is this size, 2,700, 2,000?
No, people think butter and margarine are the same.
Oh, that one is another conversation self that we are going to give.
So now when you're saying butter is expensive, it's strange to some people. Some people are just there my margarine and thinking it's butter. That's the truth. So it's looking like say 3K for butter. So they don't know the difference, to be honest. That's what we say. All these things requires knowledge. You have to know. Like I feel someone said, if you want to hide knowledge from a Nigerian man, hide it in a book. Nigerians don't like reading. We don't like reading. Because so it's easy to dump.
The moment.
It's easy to on Nigerian and run.
We'll stop living in the dark. So somebody said something, and somebody said, okay, I mentioned on my last post that you guys should remind me to talk about the timetable that I had. So if you haven't seen my last post, go and check it out. I put up the post this today. That was the last post that I put up today. And one of the things I did, I just put my timetable, like just the rough draft. So I always do that rough draft every 2 weeks. When my kids were younger, I did it every 1 week. But ever since the price of things started doing like this, the less you see me, the more you look. We are now stretching our food for 2 weeks. We are no longer living David Aloka for 1 week. We now stretch it for 2 weeks. That's another thing you to consider. How was I able to do that? I was able to do that because my children were not eating portions as high as the mountain. That's another problem you people are having. You start feeding
and they're used to varieties.
As if you are feeding. Yeah, they're used to varieties. You start feeding your 6-month-old the size of food for a 2-year-old. When they get to 2, what do you want to feed them? Why would the bag of rice that you were buying before not be finishing faster than it used to finish before? When you are practically stuffing your 6-month-old as if you are trying to feed a cow, fatten a cow for slaughter. And then when they get to 2 years old, they are now wondering why the food is not enough. What do you think? The human body is an adaptive vessel. You expand it, it will follow you and be expanding. So why I was able to do that was because I portioned food. I'm very conscious about portioning food. Even though it's even still an argument with some of my nanny self, I'm always constantly struggling with it. It's too much. Reduce it. It's too much. We're always doing back and forth, fighting back and forth. But you know what? I still get to win at the end of the day. Even now that we stretched it, And the reason why I've stretched it is because I increased the variety that I was offering. These are ways to mediate these expenses. These are ways to mediate these expenses. I was at a venue. I was at a So I went out last weekend, just to chill. And it was like a family setting, like a family setting area. And the table, that's it. And you keep feeding and feeding and feeding and feeding. And then you'll be shouting that things are too expensive, it's finishing too fast. So you are literally stuffing a cow. So I was at this venue and they brought out fish. You know how they roast and grill better catfish, with chips and all these things. And I saw this little girl sit down and finish at least 1/3 of that fish by herself. And the only thing that came to my mind was this girl must be eating her parents out of home and house. And some of us think that means we have arrived
It means
as
that they'll
far.
get fatter. They'll
Not
get
even that they'll
bigger.
get fatter. The person is feeling like, now me do pass as far I can afford it. So why shouldn't you be stuffing your face? You will get to the point where when you can no longer afford it, you will now be explaining to your child why you have to share their chicken into two. Is it not shame that will be catching you at that time? Is it not shame? When you have to be explaining to your 2-year-old, no, see, you have to share this piece of chicken with your brother, because if you don't share it, it will not be enough. Because inflation is slapping you left, right, and center. You better adjust the portions of the food you're feeding your children, because if you don't do that, you're going to have problems. Inflation is not about to stop anytime soon. And like I said, everybody should start projecting. If you are spending 20,000 naira, start saving so that in 2 months' time, if you have to buy something again, it will be 40,000 naira. At least you will have 40,000
I
naira
think
that side
it's
to buy
start
goods of
saving in the
20,000
food.
naira.
Start investing in food. Food now is investment. If you want to buy,
My
I think
dear.
rice is how much now? I think the last time I checked was 40 something or something. Imagine. So you just have to start saving with food. Buy the rice, like just buy things that won't spoil
Some
on time.
people,
For
in
instance,
fact, some very smart people, so what they're even doing is they are buying more than they need, because they know that they can still sell to their office people. I just saw somebody put up something now and say, I have fonio. Do you know if you are buying fonio for your house and you have too much, you can actually sell to the next person next to you and say, oh yeah, bring 2,000, let me give you. It's 3,500 in the market, but me, I can just give you for 2,000. You will still make your profits. Why? Because you bought it when it was much
start
cheaper.
buying in bulk.
These
And if you
Start buying in
can,
bulk.
if you can, if you can do some things by yourself, like peanut butter, buy granuts, have blender, blend. Just weekend, just do some things by. If you can do yogurt, do it yourself. There are so many things you can do by yourself to be able to cut costs. And
Costs,
homemade is
yeah.
actually sometimes much better because you know what is going into what you are doing. And again, if your little one is someone that likes all these fizzy drinks, fizzy stuffs, then you are sure to spend a lot because definitely inflation to the catch that one. So try as much as
It's still
can to
catching that one too.
minimize such things, because if me, I don't accept it. So why am I saying minimize? Try and cut it off
Cut it
and
off.
encourage and encourage healthy eating. Healthy eating too is cheap if you're able to do it well, just as you've said. Buy in bulk. Me, I'll start buying in bulk, but I'm someone that don't like buying in bulk, but maybe reasons because I like buying something fresh or I'm just lazy. I feel, now that you said it, I actually calculated it. It's actually very cheap if you buy in bulk, because if you go to market again,
The price has
you
added.
now what I'll just buy in bulk and put inside the freezer. I can't keep myself.
My dear, that's
Food
it
nice
though.
investment too. Just be
Food
investing in
is
food.
just be
Like
investing in food now.
amala, something like amala, if you can buy in bulk, buy it. Stockfish, crayfish, all these things, try and buy it in bulk because you are saving for later. And if you are even broke, you can just be able to carry something and just fast cook for the family, and it's not going to affect anybody in the house. So I feel
Yeah.
it's very good. Me too, I've learned something from today.
Yeah. And another thing I was even going to say, all those things that we used to throw away, like fish head, bone of fish, things that we used to, my dear, keep those things. Let me use myself as an example. We make coconut milk, right? And majority of us don't know what to do with the chaff. Flour is now very expensive. Like
Yeah,
baking
yeah,
flour,
yeah.
flour that
You
we use for
can do
baking is
flour,
very
coconut
expensive
flour.
now.
Just dry it.
But just dry it, mix it with your regular flour, and you have coconut
Yeah,
flour. You can use it for baking rather than
for
throwing
yourself.
it away. So
And
that
do
way we still
pancakes.
use. Thank you. There's pancake, there's cake, there are so
So
many
many things
things. You
to
can even
do.
add it to the porridge your children are eating. Like if your children
Yes,
like oats,
exactly.
if you don't want, if maybe on a normal day they used to eat maybe like 2 cup, maybe if you are cooking for maybe 4 children, let me say you have 4 children and you are cooking for 4 children, you used to use 2 cups of oats. Now you can use 1 cup of oats and 1 cup of coconut and just make everything together. At
Yeah.
least that way, because you bought the coconut, you will not throw the chaff away. These are just ways. Like for example, the timetable that I put up, I've been looking for ketchup recipe. Didn't see it on my YouTube channel. Okay, I'll probably have it sent to your DM because I don't know whether it's on my channel or Nutrition for Kids channel, but I'll look for it and send to your DM. Um, because another thing that is even affecting us truly and honestly is we believe that, just like you said, a lot of people believe that healthy living is expensive. I used to buy a lot of cereals before because I liked cereals as baking, for so many things. But I looked at my budget and I told myself I have to look for alternatives to these cereals. Not because the cereals were expensive like that, bata bata 1.6, bata bata 1.7, worst case scenario 2,000. But I just told myself that I can use this money in a different place. Crayfish has added money. Crayfish is essential to my cooking. Let me keep this cereal that I know that I would have used it for baking. I sit and buy extra crayfish, right? These are some ways you can begin to think, but you can only think like that, just like winning is winning has said, is if you have the knowledge and if you are feeding variety. If you are not feeding variety, this call is not for you.
Honestly, it's not just. I actually feel for some moms. I feel so for some mom
Yeah.
like someone like me.
What is happening? No, please don't do it again. Now for this something. This network self, why are you always chasing? Winning is winning away. Oh my goodness. So wait for her to come back. But so I want us to ask questions. Like you guys should bring up questions that has to do with this whole inflation and child nutrition thing. What are some concerns that you feel like we haven't talked about, we haven't addressed? Um, what part of the conversation do you want to add? Like for example, she mentioned something about making stuff by yourself, doing homemade, which is basically like DIY. The DIY has levels. I have some people that will make any and everything. Just tell them this thing you can make it at home. They are off. They've made it, right? Whereas there are some people like me who my own DIY level, you get as it may be, it stops at somewhere. So I rather buy something that is almost ready made and then I can build off my own DIY from there. So you also need to know your capacity. Time. A lot of us have issues with time. We don't know how to manage our times effectively. You know that you're going to close from work at 7. You know. And you're not going to get home till like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. at night. You're going to be exhausted. Why, for goodness sake, would you want to be cooking at 9, 10 in the night? Instead, instead, eh, immediately you get home, go to bed. You hear what I'm saying? Immediately you get home, go to bed. If you are picking up your child, let's say you're coming home by that 7 or something, feed your child and go to bed. Don't try to start arranging breakfast for 2. Don't do it. Wake up in the morning and start your prep. Now, if it is something that is going to, for children, if it is something that is going to like be so stressful, like there's a lot of chopping and cutting and all these other things, right? Don't have that meal tomorrow morning. So, for example, if what you're going to eat tomorrow is going to involve a lot of chopping and cutting, don't have that meal tomorrow morning. Have that meal the next day. Prep a simple thing that's tomorrow morning, right? As the meal for the day, and then do the chopping so that the following day, that's when you will now use those things that you chopped as what you're going to use to cook. This is thinking ahead. That's why I put up my timetable. If you go back and you read that post, you see where I wrote things like cut 1 onions, cut 2 pepper. I'm literally that detailed. Bring out coconut oil, blend coconut oil with tatashi, bring out chicken. If you are writing it down like that, You literally can tell yourself, if I go to work in the morning, I need to quickly bring out the chicken and put it in the fridge. I know they might not be likely to be defrosting. So that by the time I come home in the evening, worst case scenario, I just chop it up. Or the following morning, I just chop it up quickly, put seasoning and put it back in the fridge or put it back in the freezer and go to work, right? Or if you're somebody who doesn't have to do things yourself, you have your nanny, get a literate person, somebody that can read. It's very essential to your progress and your time. That way you can easily send pieces of information that the person can prep ahead of time that reduces your prep time for you. Time is a currency. I always tell people that the way I think, I always ask myself, what are those things that will drain me physically that I can use my brain mentally to afford it better? So I say, I can use my brain, come up with some extra cash, and I can relieve myself of this physical stress. Physical stress like buying from somebody who chops up veggies so I don't have to chop up my veggies myself, having somebody run errands for me so I don't have to run the errands myself, all dependent on where you live and what you have access to. But these are things that will save you, even when it even comes with the inflation thing. Then being calculated, a lot of us write things on paper. Meanwhile, you use a phone every single day. Stop doing that. Really, stop doing that. You can journal. Journaling is beautiful. Write your thoughts, write your notes, and keep that somewhere. But if you have notes that you need to make, right? Like notes, make it on your phone. Open a notepad on your phone and make your notes, because you look at your phone all the time. You're on a phone right now listening to me. When we drop this call, you probably still scroll through Instagram before you eventually get around to doing something. Make notes. Or that screenshot I took, always on my phone. I never have to remember, because sometimes you might say, that paper is far away. Before I make this list now, I don't know where that paper is. But your phone, you can write it there, and you don't have to struggle with it. So Miss One said offering variety. I don't know how else to put this or how else to make it sound reasonable. But if you go back to that post I did, you see something where I wrote egusi gravy. I use egusi to make sauces. Like, egusi is not only for soup. Egusi is for baking. Egusi is for making sauces. Egusi serves as a butter sauce. Egusi serves as a thickener for porridges. Imagine a situation, let me even paint a picture for you. Back then in those days, when they want food to go around very well, they will add plenty water to it, then it will become watery. When I add plenty water to my food, I look for a thickener, some kind of thickener, because it will increase the volume and it will increase the yield. What are my thickeners? Things like egusi, things like bambara flour, things like fonio, things like millets, things like oats. Oats is not only for making cereal, and it's not only for baking banana bread. It's a thickener. Things like achi. Achi is a thickener. Things like cocoyam, also a thickener. All these things can be things you can use to thicken food that will increase the volume and increase the yield and let it stretch longer. So I spend less time making the same set of meals all over again. And the good thing about using real food as a thickener, right? Automatically what it does for you is that it's adding nutrition to the meal. It's literally adding nutrition to the meal, right? That is what it's doing. Okay, I'm trying to get winning back. I'm not sure what happens. I'm just going to invite her back, right? But like, it adds more nutrition to the meal. So that's what I mean by variety. Don't look at food for the dish you know it for. Look at food as the ingredients. Man, I'm looking forward to the Peace Nutrition Challenge, honestly, because it's 2 whole weeks of my brain at your fingertips. Like, ask me any question, I will answer you. I don't care what the question is. Ask me any question, I will answer you. Whole thing, like the reason why that program was created and why it belongs. We're looking for you. I don't know where you went to.
Who went also?
Okay. Yeah, why it belongs to Nutrition for Kids is because we want to teach you that you people should stop struggling. Stop struggling. Stop struggling. So many people are not struggling the way we are struggling. Some of us are complaining. See, all of us are complaining. Let me not even paint this picture like I'm not complaining. Me, so I'm complaining. I'm not even finding these prices funny. Going to the market sometimes, my heart will be doing like this. But you see, I still go there. I still buy what I need. And I come out. And I'm like, okay. I couldn't get 2 tubers of yam. I could only get 1 tuber of yam. No wala. We're going to support it with cocoyam. That's how I think. That's how I think.
Amala. Amala, please, yeah.
my dear. Or we'll support it with
But
Amala. Or worst case scenario, we'll look for water yam and support it. All of them is still in the yam family. But rather than for me to be like, what are we going to do? I could only get 1 2 of yam. What will I now do? That's why why the conversation about variety is so key.
I
It's so key.
find like me, I'm a content creator. Most content creators out there, they try to cook. You cannot buy shrimp, my sister. Manage your manage. Oh, don't say because someone did shrimp, you too, you want to go and do shrimp. It's not going to work for you. You can do your own with fish. You turn your fish to fish fillet, then cut it into two. What I'm trying to say, like for instance, now let me give an example. Someone would like to eat lasagna. I'm not someone who has eaten lasagna, but I know lasagna takes a whole process, and it has and you're someone who just a normal pasta with maybe stir fried pasta with veggies. Which one will you do? You have to do the one with veggies. Why? Because that's what you can readily afford. So, or that you want to do, just like the example, shrimp fried rice. I know you don't have shrimp. Shrimp is expensive. You can do normal fried rice. Now, there are seasons and there are times. This is not the time for you to do all those. I'm not saying you should not treat your family with shrimp rice or lasagna or turkey or chicken, all those things. Treat your family, but don't make it like every day. Because if you do that every day, putting shrimps every day, shrimp is a high money food now.
Yeah.
You know that you are breaking a bank. So everything you are just trying to do, any they call it exclusive budget or continental dishes, all those orishirishi, you try and minimize it for maybe like Sundays or once in a 2 times in a
Yeah.
month and all that. Going to be able to help you cut your costs and cut your cost according to your sizes. Like
Yes,
most
sir.
foods now, market, if you want to do all this orishirishi, you have to go to supermarket to go and pick all. I tell you, at the supermarket, in supermarket, you are not seeing the person directly to I say, how much you go give me last? For you, come, you gonna say, is that my bill? You come. So when you now say your money is 150K, you not be counting. God, what did I buy? How many things did I buy? Sorry, like, I buy God. So it's just a beg. Please just try and do your local jollof rice. That one too, the sweet pass. I beg. Don't go and do like that.
My dear. And another thing is, you people should not be ashamed to drop things back. Like, I remember going to Spa the other day, and as I was walking to the house, I was like, oh, this will work. Oh, I would like this one. Oh, this one. When I got to the till, and the girl was doing pin, 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 and I was looking at the bill, I said, Auntie, wait, sorry, remove this one, keep it back. This
Yeah.
one, I only want one. I don't want two again. Keep it back. Like,
Yeah.
I was looking at it, and I
What
was
I
like,
do is that
no.
my phone has calculator. So I'm the one calculating it on the cat. I'll just do like 1,000 extra in case I don't calculate. Because it's true now. I'll carry my phone and do okay, this one here. So that
Yeah.
when I get there, okay, this is my and it's important thing is try and do a timetable. Try and plan your family.
Mm.
It's going to be it's going to save you much more than you wake up today and say, I want to eat yam and egg. No egg. Oh yeah, Nkechi, go and buy egg. Tomorrow, I want to eat potatoes and fish sauce. No potatoes. You go and buy potatoes. You're just living your life upside down. Just
That's
plan your
true.
food.
That's
So
true.
when you plan, you're able to know it. And for instance, tomatoes now, tomato is just increasing and tomato is turning to gold. Try as
Ha.
much as you can more red bell, you can find tomato in bulk. That's what I've been
No, but
doing.
it's true. That is true. That's something that I'm like, okay, so we taught a class in nutrition for kids where we taught people how to make tomato sauce that you didn't have to store in the fridge. Because back in the day, that's what they used to do. They used to like use what's it called? I think steam pressure or something in glass jars back then. So all those your mayonnaise that you have been buying that is not good, you have used those, you store those container to container for what will I even call it? It's not decoration in your house. You have just go and use it. Buy tomato in bulk. You and some people can share and learn how to do. You can join the community, learn how to do the steam. What's it called? The situation. Because I remember teaching that class, and I think I didn't teach the class. We invited a guest to teach the class, and I think after like 6 or 7 months, tomato was now doing, you know, I'm dancing. Can you see me? I wear high heels. Can you see me? I was just like, Voila, today.
In all the Bible get wisdom. May God just grant us wisdom, get
Yes,
knowledge, get
so
it's
wisdom, and knowledge. It's not easy.
I feel like being a mother and a wife will bring out the economist. If you've
No,
not
it
done
will.
economics, it will bring practical economics, and they don't teach us this school.
No, that one they don't teach it in school at all. I
And
think when I learned market survey, I don't remember it as a class, and that thing has been saving me.
I beg, school is scam. I beg, it's not real. Come on, start from one of those ones. Come on, started from our parents. Not just that I don't have like this. They said, let's see, they didn't, say, are you ready to get married? If not run in love for me, when are you giving me another grandchild? When they say, when are you giving me another, the first one I had, you tell me it's hard like this. You're not asking for more. Please hold it.
Please hold it. I'm not interested.
Hold it, amen. You people's time when you're giving birth to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Economy has not skyrocketed like this.
My dear.
No, I beg you, please just day your day. Let's try and know what we are doing first. Let's know this motherhood, fatherhood, parenthood first. September also reach now.
School fees
School fees
again.
and this school fees now they're treating us as if we are taking children to invest you.
My
When
dear.
I went to university, I paid for 15K. 15K per semester.
My
Now,
dear.
not oh, yeah, using the whole semester I used to pay for one term.
Oh, then I wanted to say something really quick. I wanted, before we close, like before we go, I want to say something that now that you just mentioned this school thing, for moms that are going to be looking for crash and like, new schools to put your kids into, please make it important to ask about school lunch. Make it
Okay,
important to
okay.
ask about school lunch. The reason why I say that is I personally have to so the school my children go to, the school does school lunch, right? And because I was already used to making healthy options for my kids, I didn't bother with school lunch. But a lot of schools now, like I know a lot of schools on my roster that are requesting for me to make meal plans for the schools that they are going to be using in the coming semester. A lot of schools are becoming more health conscious and are interested because another problem is because things are becoming expensive, people are sending their children to school with what I don't understand. Like the food they are sending their children to school with, I don't understand it. Rather than be giving yourself headache about this one is expensive, that one is expensive. Find a good school that has a reasonable school lunch that you can afford. Some schools set now make it mandatory that you pay it with the school fees. But invest in finding out what the school lunch is. Because that's another way of saving cost that we don't think about. Like school lunch is a full meal. And a lot of these schools want to impress and over impress you. So what you have not even thought about cooking in your house, they're already cooking it in school. And they're not asking
Yeah.
you what the price of crayfish is because they dare not increase school lunch price in the middle of the term. Once you have paid it, you have paid it. They will now maybe be thinking about the following semester or whatever. So they've already factored in this cost for you. And this is an expense that you pay once you forget about it. You only worry, what will you eat in the morning? What will you eat in the night? But for afternoon, I've paid for that one for the rest of the term. So as you're looking for schools, even with the schools that your children are in now, ask those questions. For example, if I didn't make healthy meals for my children, the school lunch in my children's school is pretty good. I would have enrolled them for it and it would have saved me money because the cost I would be spending at home would be less, right? So these are just things that, I said I wanted somebody who understood it and was willing to have that conversation because I know a lot of people, when you say, they say, no, heavy living is expensive. I beg, if you leave this one, things are expensive. Let me just be managing myself. No.
It's not actually. You may think it's expensive, but in due time, like you see this body, and God has made this body in such a way that this body knows how to manage. The body is like an economist. Imagine you and your insulin. That's why if I see people giving their children fizzy drink, I used to say, hey God, because the pancreas will not be the pancreas there. We just be giving insulin. When the time reach, no do again. This time around, I don't finish work. I don't do again. Just pack up. Talk to diabetes. It's true. We don't know the effect. It's true
Yeah,
now.
it's true. It's
Not
true. It's
said.
true.
You
It's
see,
actually
whatever
true.
you give to your body, you are sowing. Whatever in this life you sow, you will reap. If
You
you
will
like
reap.
sow good, you reap it. So when the thing come, you now start asking God. God is a man of God. God is a God of principles. He has given you
Yes, it is.
principles. So if you don't follow that principles, especially with your body, it's not going to work for you. So
Yeah.
you should know what you are doing and know what you are doing early, so that your
Yeah.
child will grow up and thank you later. Now, if you start introducing, I'm just giving processed sugars to your little one now. In future, you cannot run away from diabetes. That's just the truth. The amount of people getting diabetes in a year is growing very
It's
high.
increasing. It's
And
increasing.
everybody will say, my family member has diabetes. Yeah, your family member has diabetes, but you just trigger the fire by helping the DNA to function well.
Exactly.
So what I'm trying to say is that if you say you want to escape from healthy living now, and me, I'm someone that I don't like restriction. I like to give myself restriction. I don't want a situation whereby my health issues will start giving me restriction, like don't eat this, don't eat that. Let me be the one to say, let me not eat this one, my own self. That way I won't feel bad. I won't feel like God has rejected me because I'm not eating a particular food. Do you understand? I
Yeah.
like to be the one to say no to this by my own self. So it's
Mm-hmm.
much easier than they telling you to say no because of your health.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's very
That's so true.
important that start now in a way that a straight way for your family, not for just for your children, but for your family, so that in future you won't have to be paying excessive money to pay in hospitals. That's just the
Yeah.
truth. Because you feel like you are eating junks. They are called junks for a reason. It's just like you do saying junks should be thrown away inside dustbin. So if you eat the junk, your
Your
body
body
has
is a
dirty
dustbin.
and
Yeah.
to start smelling. So you pay now, is it that you suffer now and enjoy later, or you pay enjoy now and
And
suffer
suffer
later? So
later.
you have to well. So whatever you put into your mouth, you definitely reap it. Whether you are putting junks, you reap it. Whether you are putting healthy food, you reap it, or whatever you are putting, you shall reap it no matter what. So it's always important to start straight. So if you say eating junks is cheaper, well, usually it depends on you. It depends on the type of junks you are buying for you. But to be honest, you will shall repeat it somehow. Is it that when
Yeah.
you pay hospital bills or you pay doctor 40K or 70K, you will now know that okay, I'm reaping the
You're
money.
reaping.
You're reaping the money somewhere. You just have to be wise, honestly. I pray
Yes,
God
sir.
helps me more than because
It's not
society
easy.
in a way has already put something in our head, and we Nigerians, especially Nigeria, we believe if I've not yet bought it from the abroad, it is not original. Or if I've not bought it from above, I'm not Ajebota, I'm Ajepako. So I have to, it has to be coming from over
Well,
there. So I can live life.
well.
And over food, they are beginning to expose themselves that what they are putting in the food is not.
They're exposing themselves with their hand. With their hand,
I
though.
mean,
They don't even
so
need us to expose them.
so we are blessed. God has blessed us actually. And if you have opportunity to have a small farm in your house, it's actually so good. It can even save you so many things. Like have this ugu vegetables you can plant in your house. That will also save so much cost for you and your family. It's
That's
just about
true.
taking one decision because now in Nigeria, I feel like you are your own. That's how our government has set us. Or your is your case. You fend for your security, you fend for everything. So you have to choose wise decisions for your family and your children.
Yeah.
I pray God
Very
will
true.
help us.
Very, very true. Very, very true. He will, oh, he will. Because at
It
this
has
point, anybody that is thinking that things are, oh, there's the brighter future for you is to begin to make plans that it's not about to be getting any better. So start making plans from now so that you don't get caught in the middle when it's not so fantastic. Look at ways of bettering yourself right now. Like one of the things I'm learning, and I'm really grateful that I'm learning these things and I'm getting to experience them, is projecting. Projecting what I want and how I want things to be. Even though in my front, oh, it's not even looking like, for example, let me use the example of like, there's a shoe that costs 1,000 naira, and I've already started wearing the shoe. But in my front, oh, I don't even have 10 naira to buy the sole of the shoe, let alone wearing the shoe that costs 1,000 naira. But as far as I'm concerned, that shoe that is 1,000, I'm gonna wear it. What do I need to do? I need to set things in motion. I need to make plans in motion. I need to arrange myself such that in a way that that shoe of 1,000, I'm going to wear it. But as it is looking like now, it's only 10 naira I have, but I'll wear a shoe of 1,000. And I feel like a lot of us need to get out of that space because that's the only way Nigeria is going to be better. Literally, that's the only way it's going to be better. If it is to japa for you, japa, and go and be finding your feet and getting yourself better and doing whatever it is. You
But
know?
I just better because an average Nigerian person, I feel like if they can fix electricity in Nigeria, the person
Yeah.
in Nigeria electricity, a tailor will
Mm-hmm.
always sew their clothes. Just think necessities will be there, but in Nigeria, God, I know electricity is not because there are some people that want that engine that it's not possible. So if you
Yeah.
can, Japa, that's the best solution.
Truly, if you can, but if you can't, because everybody can, the truth is Nigeria cannot be empty. But if you can't, like I said, begin this projecting. Begin to project, I beg. Project for yourself, for your sanity, for your peace of mind. Because if you keep saying, today is bad, or I can't really, tomorrow is gonna be worse. So if you already know
But
that tomorrow is gonna be worse, you will enjoy today. Leave it. Do what you need to do. You know. Winning
if
is winning. Thank you so much. No, you were saying something. Sorry.
I say if inflation now is everywhere, it's not just in Nigeria, it's
Yeah.
now everywhere. The Ukraine-Russia war. I know
Yeah.
Ukraine, Russia are the one of the producers of oil, and I think
Yes.
Ukraine they produce flour, wheat, or something like
Yes.
so.
They produce wheat. Yeah.
Actually, the best thing is that God should just bless the works of our hands. That's just it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever
Yeah. I agree with you.
whatever you find your hands doing, do it with all your might, with all your strength, and God will definitely bless the work of your
Work of
hands
your
to be
hand.
to buy more food stuff.
Yeah. So thank you so much for doing
And
this with
that's
me. I hope.
like
Eh?
that now.
Glad to
No,
end,
no.
Abeg. It has to end. You want us to sleep here for another 2 hours?
Okay, I have question. My own question number one: my baby is not eating. What can I do? Because that's the first question. So that they can have on some people. My baby is not eating. What can I do?
Okay, so I don't even know how to even answer that question because I feel the truth of the matter is that that question is so vague, to be honest with you. Like, when people ask that question, the first thing I always ask is, what do you mean? Like, because when somebody asks that question, sometimes it's
And my baby,
my baby is not
you mean
eating enough, right? Maybe to
all
that
the
person, I didn't hear you.
no continue, I'm listening.
No, so I was saying, I was saying, so maybe it's like, oh, that the baby is not eating enough to your standard, right? Or you're not offering the baby's choice of food based on what they want. What are you people doing, man? Why are you shouting in my ears?
Yeah. Oh, I need you, mommy.
They're supposed to be sleeping, so I don't even know what you're doing. So another thing is you also have to consider the fact that, like, number one, you may not even be feeding the right person. You may be feeding Tunde what Kemi wants to eat. And Tunde and Kemi are different people. So you're not going to make headway, right? You're not going to make any headway. So the first things first is understanding your child's feeding language. A feeding language is just like a love language. It's the way a child communicates how they want to be fed. You've already given examples of that. Some people want to eat puree and they don't want to eat solids. My dear, blend for the beginning part. Because the thing is, once you establish
Yeah.
taste for children, once you establish taste, every other thing falls into place. Feeding is to be taught. You have to actively invest time in teaching your child how to feed, how to eat, how to chew, how to hold a spoon, how to know when they
Mm.
are full. The only thing they are capable of doing on their own is an appetite. And everybody has an appetite. There's nobody that does not have appetite. Even if there are people that don't have appetite, they are very rare. They're like 1 in 200 million or 200,000, literally. Like they are very, very few. And when you meet children like that, you would automatically know from the get-go. But most of us continue to. So the thing is, you see, everybody is a human being. The same way you get fed up, angry, tired, pushed to the wall is the same way a child will get fed up, angry, tired, and pushed to the wall. You cannot continue to feed a child purees that does not want to eat purees and expect them to open their mouth for you in another 6 months. You are a joker. Like, you are an actual joker. Because in my head, just like you said, you are being wicked now. You are frustrating me. You keep bringing this thing that I don't want to eat. You keep presenting it. You keep bringing it up. You keep stuffing it down my throat. I'm not going to open my mouth for you anymore. So even the ones that they were even managing to collect from you, they will lock up and they will stop collecting, right?
Yeah.
So that person that is asking, my baby does not eat, what do I need to do? Ask yourself the same question. What are you doing wrong? Or what are you not doing enough of? Or are you really being honest with yourself about the situation? For example, some people say, oh, I can't watch my baby cry. Oh, I can't watch my baby cry. Oh, when she starts crying like that, I don't think I can even give her the food anymore. And see, you see, cry is yet to kill anybody. Is yet to kill somebody. Do you want the baby to be crying now because you haven't figured them out, or you want to be crying later when your child is now underweight, malnourished, and is always sick? Because somebody will still cry. Is either you cry or the baby will cry. And for me, it is better that the baby is crying, because if you are crying, it means something is wrong, right? Something is going very wrong. But most of the time, if it's the baby that's crying, what are they crying about? Is the dirty diaper changing? Children will throw tantrums. Children will express themselves through tears. These are all things that you experience as a mother. That's why we said motherhood is not an easy journey, right? You signed up for it. The moment you said you wanted to answer mommy, you signed up for a real job, like a full-time job that does not get any pay. So just be ready for the journey. Oh, yeah.
May God help and give us wisdom.
Yeah.
It was a nice section, actually.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Hoping to do more of these, and I look forward to meeting some of you during the Peace Challenge. Like I said, if you haven't joined, go and join. Go and
Please
join. We are
come
looking
and
for you. Come and
come.
learn. Come and
It takes a
learn.
village,
It does. It does.
and in this you need knowledge. Knowledge is
It does.
power.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. All
And
right,
aside
thank
knowledge,
you. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, go
you
ahead.
need people around you to encourage you, because whoever you're with encourage you, good or bad decisions you
Yes.
make. So you're always around people that my baby eats this thing, and you don't find any encouragement. Your mind will just necessarily tell you that this is the right thing. So it's good to always have people around you that will teach you positive things.
Yeah, it's so important. So important. Please don't have people that will tell you, yeah, no, fizzy drinks. They say children should have sugar. All of us will not be having a day.
That's another story for another day.
Hey, all
Thank
right,
you so
thank
much
you.
for having me. All right,
Ah,
happy have a great week. Bye
have a great
everyone.
evening. Bye, everybody.